Newcastle won, Arsenal nil at St James's Park. It was the early kickoff on the Saturday, and now I'm releasing this on a Monday. I'm quite late. I had quite a busy weekend, but I did want to come and talk about this game. Disappointing game for Arsenal, disappointing performance, of course a disappointing result, and obviously we've been able to see the back of the results. Liverpool was able to grind out a win against Brighton. City did lose to Bournemouth, which kind of made the result feel a little bit better, let's just say. But for me, I was never one of those ones looking at game week 10 and judging the title race being done or not done. It's more just the trend of performances and type of performances that Arsenal have been having recently. So if you're new or returning, you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, smash the like that button down below, comment down below your thoughts, your feelings a couple of days after the game, and let's get into the analysis of this video and speak about both the game, things that Mikel got wrong, and some questions I have for Mikel personally, just the reaction and the aftermath of everything that came off after the Newcastle game, and what can be done moving forward. So the game was poor. Obviously the lineup came out. It was Ryan goal, Partey started right back, Timber left back, Saliba came back into the game. Obviously midfield three of Marino, Rice and Trossard, and then a typical front three of Havertz, Martinelli and Saka. And strong team nevertheless. Obviously ideally we don't want to see Partey right back, but we just saw him coming off the back of doing a job against Luis Diaz. But I don't think that system's going to work in every game, and I think it didn't necessarily work in this game. Not that Partey was necessarily getting destroyed by Willock, who I think was playing on that side. I think it was necessarily that we needed Partey's presence in the middle for our build up and our control and dictating the game, and we didn't really have anyone to do that. Declan Rice wasn't doing this against that Newcastle press. Marino had quite himself a poor game, like a few other Arsenal players, and I felt like during Timber's skill set is always wasted on the left hand side in an attacking sense. Defensively he's always going to be sound, but going forward I think he doesn't invert properly from the left hand side. He doesn't really look as comfortable as when he does it from the right, and we don't have that constant overlapping threat, which is why we see another game where Martinelli, not the only reason Martinelli have a poor game, but yeah, it was a game where Arsenal didn't really get any chances. Newcastle didn't come for the win, they came for a draw. They started only two attackers in Anthony Gordon and Isak, and then obviously Joe Willock off the left. Strong midfield which dominated our midfield. They were building out from the back nicely when they could. Arsenal had some moments of good build-up play, but just nothing clicking in the final third. Very poor game from Martinelli, very poor game. 1v1 defending, I think it's Livramento got him. Martinelli just looks like a guy devoid of confidence when he's getting the ball, doesn't make the right decisions in terms of when to dribble, cut inside, when to shoot, and as the game was going by, it was getting worse and worse. I was surprised that Mikel took him off. Leandro Trossard in the 10, I think it has to be the end of this experiment, but the end of him being used there, at least from the start. I think there will be some games where you can use him in the 10, and I will argue again, I don't like Trossard in the wide areas. I think because of his lack of physical pace and, you know, strength, height as well, I think it limits him, especially coming to the older end of his stage, playing in the Prem as a winger of that age. I think he's better in the central areas and in the false nines as well, just to link up and play. But I think he's always going to be better off the bench. Like, I think he has more impact coming on against tired legs, coming on when he's being able to see the game and see the spaces he can operate in, and just that hunger and anger that you're being on the bench, not starting to come on and prove himself. But when he starts, I don't know. I think Havertz had a poor game, was dropping too deep for me. I wanted him to occupy Dan Burns, and I think it was Fabian Schär. They had a comfortable game, which was annoying for me, because I understand Kai Havertz has to drop in, do the false nine type of stuff, but I didn't want him to do it in this game. I didn't think we needed him to do it in this game, and we need to confide this to make the space smaller by him dropping deeper. We needed him to give them something to worry about so that we have a presence. Give him some balls into the box, ping some long balls from Raya for some knockdowns, just be there for his movement. It was a waste in my opinion. Saka was quiet, he was getting triple teamed through that whole game, which was poor. Mikel Marino on his return back to Newcastle was poor, was very poor. I don't think he was rubbish, I don't think anyone was completely rubbish, but I think just devoid and below any level that the players were. I think Declan Rice couldn't really dictate and control the game. I think when the second half, when it was changed and Mikel made the subs of Zinchenko and Ranieri and put Partey back into the middle, I think Zinchenko coming in and inverting, creating that box with Partey, and Declan Rice pushing up to that left centre mid, I think we start to get a bit more joy, get a game with more territory. But something that I need Mikel as I transition onto this, because it was a poor performance, Great goal from Newcastle, by the way. I didn't talk about it. Lovely, lovely cross from Anthony Gordon. First time cross. Nothing Timber could have done to stop that cross because it was first time. Whipped in perfectly between Gabba and Saliba. You can argue either could have done better, but sometimes you just got to credit the cross and you got to credit the goal. It was a great header from Isak into the top corner as well. Raya couldn't have done anything about it, and I also didn't have a reply for it. The closest chances that we had was the Mikel Merino rebound shot that kind of, I think it was blocked off the line by Lewis Hall, and then I think Declan Rice had an easy header end of the game that he just didn't have any conviction or any accuracy into the header. But apart from that, nothing, absolutely nothing, and that's poor, man. So let's move on to Mikel. I think Mikel is, as everyone knows, I love Mikel Arteta. He's one of my guys. He's someone that I believe will take Arsenal to the title. He's someone that's transformed Arsenal as a football club and as for footballing and off the pitch fully. We've been saying that I'm allowed to criticize him, I'm allowed to call him out on some things that I've been noticing, and me, especially me, because I take a long-term approach to kind of let things build up, let things happen, and then make an assessment instead of just being reactionary after every game. Obviously, off the back of the loss, I didn't really say too much after Bournemouth loss, but I'm seeing certain things in terms of, okay, Odegaard's been out, Calafuri's out now, we don't have some players are out and out fit. Ben White is not fit, wasn't fit enough to start. He didn't come on in the game. Probably similar in that City game where he's on the bench if needs be, but realistically you want to avoid it. Understandable with all that stuff, but be bold. In midweek you didn't start Lewis Skelly. You brought him on. You started Zinchenko, and yes, you didn't start Partey, Trossard too good. I knew he was going to probably start these guys, but Lewis Skelly's there that can play left back. Zinchenko had more than a decent game left back, and yes, Anthony Gordon would have been the guy he's going up against, which obviously first Prem game back it would have been tough, but the stuff that he could have offered us on the ball would have been great. And if you don't want to lose that physical side, Lewis Skelly, yes, he's been a young guy, but you've trusted him against Liverpool, against City, against PSG. Wanieri balled out and was clearly levels above everyone else on the pitch. Like, I know seniority rules. The reason why Mikel does it, because he's a bit stubborn, he's a bit long to take things to change. You saw it when in the 2020-21 season when we were playing the likes of Willian and Pepe. It wasn't working. It took him quite a long time and things to get really bad before he just said, you know what, let me put in Saka, let me put in Smith Rowe, let me put in Martinelli from the start, and then we've transformed to where we are. Like, I need him to be a bit more proactive and not reactive. Like, at half time, everyone could see it wasn't working. I didn't need him to give the 10 minutes, I'm going to give you man 10 minutes. And it was about 10 to 12 to 13 minutes before he made a change. But he didn't need to give them that because nothing was going to change. There wasn't no spark you're going to buzz into any of these guys' minds or their bodies to make them want to go up and charge, because it's just in terms of how Newcastle were defending us and what we had in terms of the personnel and the skill traits. It wasn't going to cause Newcastle any threats. We weren't going to have overlapping fullbacks. Partey wasn't inverting like that from right back. Trossard wasn't in the game in the 10, wasn't effective on the ball. Havertz wasn't causing a threat and something for the defenders to think about. Saka's getting triple team out of the game. Martinelli can't even beat one guy. What do you want us to do, man? Come on, Mikel, man. You have to be proactive. You have to change things early, because this is unacceptable. And that was unacceptable. The Bournemouth game was unacceptable. Liverpool game, albeit I think we played very well and we probably deserved to win that game, but we didn't. Obviously, poor defending in some instances and not being ruthless in terms of the attack causes these things. Happens. But the Bournemouth game, off the back of the last international break, we've lost 2 games, drawn 1. We've scored 2 goals, obviously, at home. Our away form, which was our bread and butter, has literally been eradicated now in terms of that presence, obviously, for now. And it's sad because I feel like there's other options in the team. There's Jorginho, who could have played, who also had a masterful performance that you can start to see. There's Gabriel Jesus, who I feel like got his goal now. Was it a trigger to say, do you know what, Trossard, I'm sorry, hold you on the bench? It doesn't matter if people are going to be upset. It's like, this is what I feel like he needs to win. I think Mikel has to get to a stage now where he needs to start looking at game to game and stop, moving players around, or the idea of players that can do a certain role based on their physicality or because of certain technical traits that they have, and actually put players in their more natural position, or players that have more skill traits to really take opposition out. So, for example, playing Jesus in the false 9 or as a part of a 2, or even in the 10 alongside Havertz, 2 strikers instead of Trossard, who isn't naturally a striker. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes playing Jorginho as a 6, not always having to play Rice in certain games if it's not necessary, not doing the Partey right back thing if we're not at home or we're going to be super dominant on the ball. Do you know what I mean? Or it's circumstances where there's no other options that you have to, like last week against Liverpool, understandable. But where Timber's here, you have Lewis Skelly, you have Zinchenko, you have Kiwior, you have to give us an alternative. And being proactive, be bold. Next game, I'm not saying you have to start Nwaneri, but you have to do something else. I don't want to see the same type of lineup, same type of midfield go into that game against Chelsea. I need a bit more creativity. I need a bit more individuality. I need a bit more. Someone give me the ball, some creativity, something that gets us off our feet. We need more of that, which now triggers everyone else. And I need a 6 that's gonna be there playing ball all the time. We need to get ourselves controlling. When we're not playing either Jorginho or Partey in that 6, we're suffering because we're not dictating the game. Even if we're having possession of the ball, it's only in our first phase. We're not penetrating for the second phase or the first phase. We're not knowing when to go long, when to go short, when to go in behind. I need that because Mikel, I haven't lost faith in this title race at all, and I think the Chelsea game is a good game to come back off a loss, another away game where you have to be concentrated. It's going to be a hostile environment. Chelsea, I think, are level on points of us, above us by I think 1 or 2 goals in goal difference, and they're probably going to want to beat us or at least get a result out of us to falsify their chance, the title hopes, or at least being a finisher above us. I think we need to use this as a trigger to get a win, go into that international break, regroup, hopefully no one gets injured, and come back with that favourable run of fixtures, all London games in December, and get some runs going, get some wins again. I think it's too early for people to judge title race, which is why I'm just going to speak on quickly the Arsenal fans kind of losing their head, people calling for Arteta out. Obviously everyone's entitled to their opinion, everyone's entitled to how they're meant to feel about something, innit? I think one thing people have to start to realise is that after 10 games in a season, if we're crowning it, Nottingham Forest should be finishing in the top 4 at least, or at least top 6, and they might do. I'm not trying to criticise them. Liverpool should be going to win the league with a 7-point lead and at least a 3-point lead over City, and so a 4-point lead over City, if I'm correct. Yeah, 4-point lead over City, and also Arsenal should not finishing the top 4, or not even going to be in the title race, because I'm seeing headlines about Arsenal not in the title race, titles done, this, that, the other. You're not winning no trophy in the beginning of November when there's no competition for any trophies to be won. Nothing's set in stone. I remember Liverpool were 8 points going into the winter break last season, and Arsenal ended up being top for the majority of 2024 calendar year till City overtook. So I think it's just time for people to just calm down. When you lose, you got to burn, you got to soak it in, you got to criticize, but then you also have to put things into context, and then you move on knowing that a reaction can change. I'm pretty sure after when Liverpool were down 1-0 and City were down 1-0, a lot of Arsenal fans that were chatting shit either had changed their narrative to, if we had won now we could have capitalized this, or okay, these man actually lost, maybe it's not as bad, because you have to realize a long Premier League season, Arsenal have had the toughest run of fixtures, so many away games, away at Tottenham, away at City, away at Villa, away at Newcastle, and after next week will be away at Chelsea, whilst also facing Brighton at home, facing Liverpool at home, just to name a few. Our next run of fixtures, I don't think Liverpool have only had to face a couple of the harder guys and a lot of home games. City have only had to face Arsenal and Chelsea, and everyone else has been not favourable fixtures, but no one in that bracket. I think as the season goes by, as we get to game week 20 to 25, towards the end of Christmas and maybe the start of New Year's, I think it will balance out and you'll be able to see things, because Liverpool and City will have a head-to-head. They'll face Spurs in there, Villa in there, United in there. Do you know what I mean? Those type of games that aren't favourable, Newcastle away and all those kind of things. Obviously, no one say that they're going to lose, but I think things will balance out and we'll be able to have a real scope of a title race once we get there. I think being 5 points behind City, and no disrespect to Liverpool, they're not the ones I'm chasing, because I feel like they will, have a period where they balance out as City. Even if they're not at their strongest, are the ones we're competing by, and 5-point gap is calm enough for me, because we still have a head-to-head against them, which means we can take 3 points away from them, or 6-point swing. And yeah, just calm down, man, calm down. Arsenal have had a lot of injuries. We haven't been playing at our best. Mikel has been trying to juggle things out. He needs to be a bit more ballsy. He needs to be a bit more proactive in how he goes about what he does, and he just needs to make a change, and he needs to start that from potentially Inter Milan on Wednesday, which won't be an easy game at the San Siro, and then Chelsea again, because we need to get a result. We need to make sure that we put a stop to this bleeding and we get back into winning ways in the Premier League. So yeah, disappointing result, disappointing game. It was so disappointing, man, but we move, man. It's a long season, still early in the season. It's better for these things to happen early in the season, where there's a lot of time to rectify it, than later in the season where there's not that much time to rectify it, or it's more costly, I should say. So, it's been your boy Kape. Hit that subscribe button, smash the like button down below. A lot of people are just hoping that I'm coming out, chatting shit with my manager and stuff. It's still early in the season. Come on, man, we're not rookies in this sports thing. It's disappointing. Hopefully the changes in both the players' performances, who's playing where, who's actually starting, the rotation of the squad in terms of the games changes and has a more of an influence to us maybe showing a different face in our next couple of games. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on the preview of the Inter Milan video. I'll catch you guys on my game reactions as well, and we'll see what player profile video I will bring in out. It's been your boy Kape. Speak soon. Peace.